What is up, winning team? I have the most hilarious story to tell you guys. Listen, Rugrats was my favorite growing up. Rugrats was my favorite show as a child, and it is iconic. I just decided to watch Rugrats episode, yeah? I'm going to explain. Don't worry, the music's going to stop in a second, but we have to have the intro. So good. I love Rugrats. So growing up, guys, I used to watch Rugrats, yeah, and I decided to, I don't know, so I have a lot to do today, okay? It's a busy, very busy time in my life. And the fact that I just come on here to these videos acting as if I've just got time to waste is crazy. But anyway, so I decided, well, I barely sleep, so I can kind of, Anywho, so I decided I wanted to do something to like, relax my mind and all these things. So I randomly had the idea to watch Rugrats, but the situation didn't go how I thought the situation was going to go. And now here we are. So the title of the video says, Rugrats Visit Toyland or Toyland. I'm going to put the video in the description because I highly recommend you guys watch it, because I feel like if you watch this and then you watch the full video of this, then watch it, then watch this again, you guys will be understanding why I'm laughing the way I'm laughing at this whole story thing. So basically, this is the first time I'm watching Rugrats as an adult, and I'm obviously thinking to myself, like, as a kid, you just watch stuff and you don't really know why you like whatever you like. You're just there, you're just living, you're just breathing, you're just, And I knew that I was either going to come out on the other end, like, regretting that I'd ever watched the show, or, like, literally thinking it's iconic. And this is iconic. So in this episode, it's Christmas, right? And I'm watching this now as an adult. Like, the thing that's horrified me about this whole adult experience, and I think it happens to everybody, I think everybody else just kind of like internalizes it and then makes excuses for themselves, is realizing how much really went wrong in the first part of your life, right? That's why I feel like you either have a quarter life crisis or you have a midlife crisis, Anyway, so the show is on Christmas, and it all starts out with them, the kids in the house, and they're talking about Christmas. Angelica's like, and I didn't like Angelica, we're going to come to her because she reminded me of the funniest story, you guys, from one of my most proudest moments of my life, and I shouldn't be proud of it because it was heinous, right? Anyway, so, but I'm going to tell you what it was. And so she starts out telling the rest of the younger kids, she's like, the best part about Christmas, the younger kids all talking about how Christmas, it's all about the Christmas spirit and whatever. And she comes in, Christmas is all about the presents. The best part of Christmas is the presents, right? And I just started to laugh immediately. But then the things that started to get me was obviously the dynamics of the parents, Tommy's dad. They were all going to Tommy's dad's place where he'd like built stuff for the Christmas day and all of this. And then his wife was like, this one doesn't start to laugh because I started to realize this is exactly the same as real life. So his wife started to, she was being negative. She's like, I hope nothing breaks. I hope nothing is destroyed. This is not going to age well. So then she says that, yeah. I'm literally watching Rugrats. It was so good. Honestly, I knew it was going to be better than any of this dumb, new school, Hollywood, degenerate nonsense. And this is why I always opt to watch the things that like kids would like, because I feel like it helps me to maintain my innocence and not start making excuses for degenerate behavior like the older population. And hence why I like to watch the Sidemen, because they're heinous, but they know they are. And they know that that's unacceptable, and we laugh about it. We don't like try and normalize it and walk in pride. So they all get together. He's all like, yeah, guys, I built this, I built that. And she's all like the voice of negativity. And then like, I guess his sister-in-law is like, oh, don't say that. Like, it's going to be fine. Don't be negative today as well. Like basically saying that she's always negative, which I'm not going to get into the intertwinings of the adults, because that's going to make this video depressing, just like how adults make life depressing. So we're going to focus on what's going on with the kids because it's actually hilarious. So they all get in the car with the kids all strapped in the back, and then they had the most funniest discussion because one of the kids goes, oh man, like I wish I wasn't potty trained, then I wouldn't have to be wearing this stupid outfit. And then Tommy's like, yeah, that's why I'm still in diapers. And then you got the grandparents all lovey-dovey doing up lovey-doveys because everyone's talking about what they want to do for Christmas. And then grandpa's like, when I was younger, right, the classic, when I was younger, all we did at Christmas was watch Bill Cosby. And then that's where I was just like, of course, you freaking delusional, decepted delinquents. But anyway, watch Bill Cosby and have hot cocoa and whatever. And then Mima's all kissing all up on him and they're all like in love. And I was like, yeah, you see, this is the last time we saw love, was not even in the generation below them. Anywho, so, and that's also about to age extremely well, guys. So they get to this place. Angelica's all about, I'm going to go and tell Santa what I want from Santa because Santa has to give me what I want because I've been a good girl all year. And I was like, that level of confidence is the level of confidence I aspire to get to. Like, people like that in the world, the way people walk around, especially women, especially like Karens. Karens for me are my inspiration in life. You know that? Because they're so confident in their delusion. And I'm like, how do I become confidently delusional? So that's what I'm trying to do in this season. Anyway, I am so together. And then her mom's like, don't worry, Angelica, I'm the CEO here. You get whatever you want, my daughter. You get whatever you want. And I was kind of loving that for her. It was kind of giving, you know, the girl that chewed bubblegum in Willy Wonka, the one that was like, Daddy, I want another pony. I love her, right? There was giving that, you know what I mean? It was giving that. So she's like, yeah. And then so Cynthia's like, whatever, Cynthia, Angelica, and this is the bit where it started to get juicy because basically they get there and then for some odd reason, all the parents decide to leave all the kids, the babies, not like teenagers, not like the babies, with grandpa outside of one of the buildings, right? And they all get on this train to go somewhere, the adults. And of course, grandpa fell asleep, right? Immediately. And it made me laugh because obviously I've had all my grandparents have passed. All 5 of them. And it's really sad. It's one of those things that makes me really depressed, actually, because I miss them. And I wanted nothing more than to have time to like spend with them as adults. And I really wanted them to like, this is one of the many reasons I don't even want to be married, because I'm like, I don't even have the guest list that I want is not even live at this point. But obviously I was so busy focusing on this stupid education everybody was telling me to focus on. And then they died. My grandma, I did my degree for her. She died in my second year. Guys, that was one of the hardest things I've ever been through in my life. But anyway, so the grandpa's left there with the kids. Falls asleep. My grandma used to fall asleep all the time. Every time she would come to visit, she'd just fall asleep throughout the day all the time. And it was funny. And then she'd have the audacity to roast us like everybody else is sleeping so much. Like, why is everybody sleeping so much? Because she's waking up at 5 a.m. to do her prayers. And we're like, amore. Nana, you were asleep. But it's okay. Because we love them, right? Anyway, so they leave him. He falls asleep. The kids start to go off and do their thing. And the parents have gone off in the train. Now, this is the best bit of the whole thing. Right? But it just gets better. The whole episode is so good. I was crying of laughter, literally of tears, the whole time. So then basically, Angelica starts saying, we need to find Santa. We need to find Santa because I want to get this and I want to get this and I want to get my pony and I want to get my whatever. Right? And then she decides to say to Tommy, because obviously Dylan, or Dill, who's the youngest, which by the way is the most purest little thing because their surname is Pickles, so his name's Dill Pickles. It's so cute. That is so cute. I never obviously would have picked that up as a kid, but like knowing that now, and we found that out later when they read who was not in the naughty list, who was in the nice list from the elf, right? The elf who complained about being overworked and underpaid. It's exactly what he said, and I was cackling. And she obviously wasn't in the list. We know this, right? Anyway, so when he read out Tommy Pickles, Dill Pickle, I was like, oh, I get it. That's so cute. So anyway, she says to Tommy, she's like, Tommy, if Dill doesn't get a good birthday gift this year, this is going to be his last ever Christmas. Now, I'm going to tell you guys why I laugh, because I did something heinous like this, right? When I was a kid, when I was 6 years old. So we're living in Zimbabwe at the time, right? We only lived there for like a year and a half because my parents and then another couple from America, like proper like American, like Assemblies of God, like young couple, found Jesus, America kind of couple, right? And their 2 sons, we all moved to Zimbabwe for 2 years. So I think it was supposed to be forever. I don't know for how long. Honestly, I respect them for just being ready to up and move all the way from America. Those guys. Anyway, loved them, loved their kids. Me and their kids, we used to hang out because we all lived in the same house in Zimbabwe, actually, which is crazy to think about now. Because I'm like, what was the dynamics like between these couples? But anyway, we all used to live in the same house and we were all building a church and it was all hopeful in the future. Anyway, so and it was amazing. It was actually amazing. Like, in terms of my childhood, I think those were probably some of the best years of my life, because it was just beautiful. Like, we had so much space. Like, we had a playroom with all these different things. We had a swimming pools in like most of the houses we lived in, and we used to go, like, it was just one of my favorite houses that we had. It had a swimming pool, it had a fountain at the end, and it was coming off the edge, and it was just, it's just amazing. Anyway, so it's my brother's birthday and he's about to be 3 years of age. Bless his heart. This is genuinely one of my proudest moments. And when I tell you guys, you're going to unsubscribe. So basically what happened was, I don't remember exactly what I said, right? But it was something that was giving Angelica. You know how Angelica was like, if Dylan doesn't get a gift this year, this is going to be his last Christmas. I said something to him like that. This is before I knew any of this. I said, so I've said to him about his birthday when he turns 3. I was like, I'm 6. I'm 6 years of age. That's what's making me laugh about this whole thing, because I'm thinking they're children. But we can still be heinous as women. And this is why men are just idiots. But anyway, so I say to my brother, I'm like, when you turn 3, like, and everyone, and like, he thinks to this day that I can't remember what exactly I said. He thinks I said something like a monster was going to attack him, and that's because he's a dude and he thinks in very straight lines and he's simple-minded. That is a pathetic threat, in my opinion. I'm sure that it was something more like envision that his favorite fruit is strawberries, and his life dream at this point is he wants to become a strawberry farmer, right? It's more likely that what I actually said was, by the way, if you turn older than 3, you can never eat a strawberry ever again. Like, that's probably what I actually said. Something along those lines. Not that he's going to be attacked by a monster. That's pathetic. Come on, guys. So anyway, his birthday comes along, and we're all, and as a family, and with all the friends, and with all the Rachel, and whatever her husband's name, I've forgotten her husband's name, and their sons, and everyone's here at the table. It's this long rectangular table at this venue we went to for my brother's birthday party for him to turn 3. And it was beautiful. It was kind of like envision Disneyland, but minus the corporate, minus the overconsumption. There was all like a train going behind him. And this is why the train, even in the Rugrats thing, was cracking me up, right? So as we're all in this lovely ambiance, he's sitting at the end of the table. He's got this birthday cake and he's there with this big head, you know what I mean? And everyone's singing happy birthday. And he burst into tears, and he was like, guys, I shouldn't laugh at this, I'm 28, right? But it's just too funny. And it was Angelica that reminded me of this. He was like, I don't want to be free. He was crying. He was crying his eyes out. I don't want to be free. Oh my God. I was crying of laughter, and I'm crying of laughter today. I have no regrets. And that was what made me laugh, because the kids, Angelica, after the fact, had basically convinced them to go off somewhere, because she was going to go off where the elves were. Yeah. And then they were still trying to do something to impress Angelica, bless their little hearts. And they were like, maybe if we show this, then Angelica will be sorry that she da 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 da. And then they were like, Angelica's never sorry. And I was like, oh no. But then the thing is, after this scene of the kids all doing all these crazy things, Grandpa's asleep, right? Angelica's off being heinous. She's terrorizing all the kids. The kids have now been sent off, right? One of the funniest moments later in the episode, one of the elves gets a call on the walkie-talkie. There are 6 babies on a goat on their way to Bethlehem. Anyway, so in the midst of this, the parents arrive at this little cabin. And little do they know, because the dad, right, he had set up the whole, whatever his mechanics were. You guys know I'm a girl of mechanics, so I love physics. I love physical chemistry is my favorite area of chemistry. I love physics, quantum. You guys know everything to do with machines, numbers, engines, everything, right? And so the way he set it up, as I was watching, I was thinking, this isn't smart. Obviously, as a kid, I wouldn't know any different. But he basically had like a paperclip holding something together under the machine, and it like nearly blew out. And he was like, oh, no, that's fine. That always happens the first time. And then he goes to fix it. And then that's when they went off on the train. So that was before. So he'd gone off now, and they'd all gone off on the train. And this paperclip obviously broke because it's a full-blown machine, bro. Like, are you dumb? But anyway, and the snow machine started to overproduce snow, and it ended up locking the parents into the house, right? But they hadn't realized this yet. So in the midst of them not realizing, in the midst of Angelica and her antics, do you know what these parents are doing? They're singing and dancing in this cabin. It's Christmas Eve on the prairie. Guys, I was crying of laughter watching this. It's Christmas Eve on the prairie, and they're all dancing around. I'm like, and your kids are just genuinely, your kids are, you left all your kids, all of you parents, with just grandpa. It reminds me of how dumb I think it is for parents to leave their children with us teachers. Listen, guys, I'm a great teacher. I leave them, your children safe, always safe with me. Any child is always safe with me, but we're still strangers. Like, and that's why I'm saying sometimes when you guys are hypocrites, because how can you teach your children don't talk to strangers and then take them to a building with strangers you don't even know what the strangers are teaching, but you're just blindly trusting them. But then you're telling them that they shouldn't blindly trust people. So, but that's what where you're taking them to go. Like, this is sometimes why your kids struggle, because they don't get it, because you're not making sense, and they're thinking logically because they're kids. And this is again what I realized about the kids, because the parents are off doing God knows what. And the children are so cute. And then they had a little scene, right, where the kids had found the baby Jesus in the narrative. What is it called? What's it called? Why can't I remember the name of it? Because it's probably because it's not biblical. What do you call that thing? Everyone calls it the nativity. And they found baby Jesus, but they didn't know what they were facing, right? So, it was just honestly the cutest thing ever. So they seen the little baby Jesus, he's got one lock of hair and he's in a diaper, right? And then, and he's in his little hay thing. And they're like, why is everybody staring at him? And then they're like, oh, and one of them goes, oh, he must be so uncomfortable falling asleep in all this hay. And then he was like, and then they all gave him their little items that they had. So one of them had a little scarf. The other one had a shoe that they had stolen from one of the decoration thingies. The other one, like dill pickles. The youngest, he gave his little hat, and they gave it all to the baby Jesus. And the thing that actually made me laugh about the baby Jesus was that his hand signal was like this. And I was like, creative people are actually sick in the head. Like, no one realizes that. And I was thinking about this after the fact that, like, the normal people act like you have to stay in the lines all the time, but the normal people are the ones who are spending thousands to watch people doing nonsense on stage. And this is why I've come to love the rock community, because I've realized you can do anything on stage, and I need to be all up in that, right? So anyway, so they're all the baby Jesus. I was thinking, and then it also, warmed my heart as well, because thinking this is actually how children are. They're so precious and pure. They couldn't even tell that he was fake. They thought he was just asleep. They didn't realize it was a toy, and they were giving everything he could. They're worried about him. They was asking if he was okay. They were feeling bad for him. Jesus, the baby, things like this, and giving them all of their belongings, and on Christmas, and then obviously Tommy and all of them are worried, because basically what had happened that I didn't mention was that Angelica had upset the fake Santa. So Santa that was there that year, he was the like brother of the real normal Santa. And so it was one of them where he's like, I'm doing this guy a favor. I don't have to be here. And honestly, I don't even have the patience to be here type of situations. So when Angelica's pulling up talking about, and this year I want a pony and all this, right? She's not supposed to be saying that, but you guys get the gist. He's like, I quit. So he takes off his Santa hat literally in front of her and all the kids and walks off. And so that's why the kids had all this anxiety, because they were like, Dylan's going to die. Because if he doesn't get a good Christmas, this is going to be his last Christmas, because of what Angelica said. I was crying of laughter, you guys. I cried of laughter. Like, it was so hard for me to even come on here to make this video. And then, right, so they do that. So he's quit. So when they went off and they were doing their baby things, and the babies were and there's 6 babies on a goat going to Bethlehem. She goes to the elf area type of thing. And then in there, she has a whole bunch of experiences. And basically, the first Santa had given her this little baby, oh my gosh, baby reindeer. This little baby reindeer called Prancy, who she called Prancy. I don't know if that was his name or not, but obviously I'm assuming it's Prancer. Not the baby reindeer coming into the mix. That's actually insane. But anyway, so they'd given her this little baby reindeer. She was like, this isn't what I want. This isn't what I want. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then after that's when we like quit, because it was just like, I'm done with this. I'm done. I'm not being paid enough to be here. Listen, I'm very much in the season of like, I'm not being paid enough to be here. And it's not even about not being paid enough to be here. I don't even have to deal with this, because this is not even my fault, because you're not even my child to have to deal with. And so, yeah. And so and then he quits. She goes, she's like, I want to go to the factory, because one of the kids was like, yeah, maybe we can go there. And like one of the kids goes like, Santa might have quit and he might have walked away, but he didn't go with his sleigh and he didn't go with his bag of stuff, with his bag of gifts. So maybe they're still here in the whatever, you know what I mean? Like, kids always being so optimistic and innocent and believing in people that they shouldn't believe in, like I did for the last 28 years of my stupid life. And so then they went to she went to the elf thingy, and the elves were in there, and that's when we met the elf who was just like so done with having to, like, I am not paid enough to deal with you and you can actually leave. And so she's like, no, but I've been a good girl this year, so I'm going to be in the book of whatever the book is called. I don't know. Also, I think it's heinous that parents lied to their children about Santa. And that was one of the things that upset me as a child. When I realized that my parents were liars about Santa, I was like, I don't trust you people anymore. But anyway, and I was about 4 when that happened, by the way, because I accidentally found the Christmas gifts by accident. Anyway, so she's like, I'm in the book of the good kids, whatever. And then that's when he'd read through the book, and he was like, oh, what's your name? And she's like, what's her name? Angelica Pickles. And then he's like, oh, okay. Tommy Pickles, Dill Pickles. That's it. Like, you know, whatever. I can't remember what happened. And because I was crying with laughter again. Anyways, she then bumps into Prancy, the actual reindeer. So not the little toy version, but the actual one. And she'd called him dumb earlier, stupidly, not realizing what she was saying and how it would affect him. Like the story of me and my brother. And that's why I have apologized to him profusely as an adult. And I've told him many times, look, tell your story. I've definitely bullied you growing up and I didn't mean to, and I'm sorry. And I've told him 100 times, like, literally tell your story to as many people as you need to. Get the help you need. Ask the questions you need from me or anyone. And when I can, I'll pay for as much therapy as you need, because I do genuinely feel bad. I just didn't understand. And actually, I feel like people should have explained to me at the time how he's feeling, because that's kind of what happened with Angelica. So Angelica, Prancy came up to her and he was like, you called me dumb. And she was like, Prancy, I didn't know. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. Like, she didn't realize it was going to hurt his feelings. And then because of what she realized she had done, she was really apologetic. Because then another elf comes up to her and she said that they're like, and why did you tell Tommy that this was going to be Dill's last Christmas if he didn't get a gift? And stuck it on her. And like, this is what I'm saying as well. I like people who come with that kind of energy. Because you need it, you know what I mean? This is what the Lord is like with me, and it puts the fear of God through me, because I'm like, God, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna go apologize to everybody. It's very humbling. As I'm saying, pride doesn't exist in the kingdom of heaven. And then when she was asked that, she felt really bad. So then she took all the bag of gifts. She went to the kids, right? I'm going to come back to what was going on with the adults in a second. Actually, let's come back to that so I can keep you guys keeping on. So then we go back to the... Oh, no. We'll come back to the adults afterwards. Actually, we'll come back to the adults now. So the adults now are still in this thing, just moving on. They're like cooking and all this stuff. And you guys are really moving on with your life while the children are just being left unsupervised. I'm thinking this must be why I resonated with this when I was damn near 4 years old, whatever the heck I was. Anyway, you're leaving the kids unsupervised, right? And you're just out here cooking, doing things together, singing Deck the Halls and all these things in this cabin. And then they realize about the snow, and then they go to try and break the door with the figurine that was singing Christmas Eve on the prairie, you know. I might make that my ringtone, genuinely, just for the hell of it, just for the plot. So a lot of the adults start to like try and use this thing to force the door open, and then it's Tommy's dad, the builder of it all, who's like, "Let's just wait for somebody to come and save us." And I was just like, yeah. And this is why all the women are going lesbian these days, because this is how the men be acting. So freaking for real right now. Let's just be real. Let's just wait for somebody to come in. No! Break the door! Break the door with your fists or with your leg or with something, with your elbow. No one cares. With your freaking forehead. Not just see the way you're gonna wait this. Like, honestly, it's just, oh. And the thing is, I can say these things because I can do a lot of them. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have to have learned to, but I've had to because they've been living with Tommy's dad's figures in the world. Anyway, so that's what they're doing in there. And then they decide they're going to wait. They listen to him because obviously he's the guy. He's the one who built everything. They're trying to trust him. His wife wants to believe in him, but she doesn't really because she's seen him fail time and time again. And she wants to keep believing. And I actually respect her because she's so lovely. And she actually goes on to say, she's actually one of my favorite. She's probably one of my favorites of the adults, actually. She goes on, she's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna miss Dill seeing Santa for the first time." And I was thinking that's such a mum thing to say, you know, and to think about. Well, a parental thing, actually. And anyway, so flashback to the kids. So that's what the adults are doing. Flashback to the kids. Angelica comes in with a whole sack of gifts to give to all the kids. She's been, you know, her heart has been melted like you people have done to me. And now I'm here making videos about love and friendship and making teams and everything. And the Lord and like how God loves you and all this, right? So anyway, her heart has been softened. She's gone, and this is why it's so funny that I just randomly had the thought to watch Rugrats. I just randomly did it. And then obviously, again, every single thing in my life happens perfectly on beat, perfectly in time. We're coming back to that concept in just a second when we get to Mima and Grandpa. So she comes in, she's got a sack of gifts. She's giving gifts to all the kids. She didn't even have one for herself. And she didn't even have the last kid who didn't have a gift was Dill. And she gave him the baby reindeer. I can't make this stuff up, but it was cute for the Rugrats. This is 20 years ago. So they had, this is what I'm saying. Kids have nothing to do with our heinousness as adults. They're just living, and we all were kids once. We just all became heinous. That's what I realized. So she gave him the thing, and he cried because he was still believing that his life was only going to continue if he got a good gift at Christmas. So he cried. And then she didn't get a gift because she gave all the gifts to everybody else. And it was just so cute. And then Grandpa's woken up now, obviously, conveniently. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to take y'all to wherever." So then Grandpa takes the kids. He digs off all the snow from in front of where they are, the parents were, so they can open the door. And he comes in walking in, holding Dill, looking like the man of the hour. And then Mima's like, "Louis Pickles." What did she call him? What did she call him? Hold on, I'm going to have to get it. Hold on. So right here, I'm going to let you guys listen to it because I found it. Listen. So this is him.
Woo-hoo! I hit something solid, and it wasn't my foot this time. Come on, Sprouts.
He shoveled out all the snow. Wait, I want you guys to hear what Mima says. See? I'm seeing Deck of Halls. The idiots, the parents.
Lou Pickles, my hunk of a Christmas hero.
My hunk of a Christmas hero. my hug of a Christmas hero. I was like, me, ma. And yeah, I just thought it was so cute. And obviously they're back in their lovey-doveys. They're back in love. Their shoes all touchy-feely, you know? And whatever, the parents were all like cheering as if they did absolutely anything for these children to be here safely. It was all thanks to the the grandparents' hard work. Even in their sleep, slumber, and whatever, because she was also the one who was just playing Deck the Halls for everybody to be singing along with. And then, and then Gramps obviously takes out the snow, comes in, you know what I'm saying? They send in the big guns. She's like, low pickles, you know. And I just thought that is just the most wholesome thing ever. And then everybody's happy and it's all the end of the episode. It was 2 episodes, actually, technically. I forgot to mention the part when the start of the 2nd episode, Angelica was confidently going like, I'm going to go and sing Christmas carols to everybody. She was singing out in the streets, tone deaf, like me. I was just like, wow. Me being out here singing like tone deaf confidently is crazy. And that's what she was doing as well. I'm heinous. But anyway, this whole thing just made me laugh so much, and it was just so funny. And like, it was the part where I remember the story about me and my brother, because I forgot about that. And it's also like with that same story. I mean, I love Rugrats. Rugrats is my favorite show that I watched growing up as like a child. Like, it was the best. I don't know why. I think it's because they're always on random adventures, like the stuff I've talked about in this video. But now looking back, and when I saw Angelica's behavior, I was thinking, oh my gosh, it reminded me of like, you know, you might be unintentionally horrible. And I also just wanted to tell you guys the story, because it's funny. It's still very much funny. Look, I don't have any regrets, because I didn't have any ill intent at the time. However, I can look back and I can take accountability for the fact that what I did was hurtful to somebody else, and I didn't intend to hurt them. That wasn't what the goal was. And like with all the videos that I'm making with everybody right now, and with the things I'm talking about, especially about being a woman, I feel like it's important to highlight that as humans, it's okay sometimes to acknowledge that you did something you don't necessarily regret. You didn't necessarily intend on the outcome that came from it, but how that thing translated to somebody else wasn't what they deserved. And that's why I said, I made sure after the fact, I've apologized to my brother about it. I apologized for any type of behavior, bullying, anything I've ever done to him that hurt him in our childhood. And you might say, oh, kids will be kids, whatever. No, because he deserves to be acknowledged for his experience. He deserves to be apologized to. He deserves me taking accountability, and he deserves my humility to say it to him, to his face, with my mouth, that I'm sorry. Like, I never would have wanted to hurt my brother. I love him with all my heart. Like, I love my brothers probably more than I love anyone at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're the only 2 good things, in my humble opinion, that came from my parents. So I'm like, it hurts me to know that I hurt them, but at the same time, the satisfaction of sitting on that table while my brother was like, I don't want to be free, will never not be funny. Not when I'm 28, 38, 48, 58, 68, 78, 88, 98, 108. You know what I'm saying? Off late, out of date. It won't be, because it's just hilarious, and we're still siblings and I still love him, but I can still make mistakes even in trying to not hurt anyone and just being myself, and we all can. So I hope that's a lesson we take away from this, if you're going to take something serious. Otherwise, I hope you guys giggled, and please go watch this Rugrats Visit Toyland, because I don't know if it's just me and my own mind that found every single part of this funny, but my goodness, I have not laughed at something I've watched like this in a while. And I watched the Simon Sundays, which are funny, but this had me cackling all the way through. I didn't even get into all the funny bits. But yes, if life's a game, let's play to win. I got things to do now. I've got so much stuff to do, guys. Stay tuned. Stay tuned, because put on the post notifications, in fact, because I have, listen, the last part of this year is intense, about to be intense for me. This is why I'm like, God, I need you to recharge me to the extreme right now, because how am I going to give what you're asking me to give right now? Anywho, I love you guys dearly. If life's a game, it's made to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. I'll see you in my next one.